Honorable Tribunal, we will be happy to allow claimant to stage their claims.
Good evening, Honorable Tribunal. My name is Oren Dolberg, and I'll be representing claimant on the substantive issues, the additional payments due by respondent. I will first address the issue regarding the exchange rate of the fan blades, and will proceed to address the issue regarding the insufficient funds due to the bank levy. On August 1st, 2010, the parties signed a contract for the joint development and sale of a new fan blade. 3 months later, respondent decided to purchase clamps in addition to the fan blades. In order to simplify the transaction, the parties signed an addendum to the development and sales agreement, which contained their whole agreement on the clamps. When payment was due more than 4 years later, respondent refused to pay the full purchase price of the fan blades, alleging that the conversion clause in the addendum, which stipulates a fixed exchange rate, applies to the fan blades as well as the clamps. As a result, claimant was unable to cover its production costs. It received less than the minimum price per blade, which was agreed in the contract, and suffered a loss of over $2.28 million. Therefore, the matter before the tribunal today is a question of interpretation of contracts. The choice of law that the parties chose to govern their contractual relationships is the CISG under Section 20 of the Development and Sales Agreement. The methodology of interpretation of contracts under the CISG is governed by Article 8, according to which we must first look at a textual interpretation of the contract. If this text is ambiguous, we must apply a subjective test of the party's intent, followed by an objective test of the understanding of a reasonable person. I will represent claimant's case in three main arguments. First, the conversion clause of the addendum does not apply to the fan blades. Second, even if the tribunal should still find the clause to be ambiguous, it must be interpreted contra preferentum. And third, a floating exchange rate is an essential and implied term of the development and sales agreement.
I would like if you can elaborate just a little bit more on the two items, if to call it the scamps and the
Yes.
case and the blades, the fan blade.
Yes.
What is your argument about this issue? They say there is one payment, or the sum is for both, and you say no. It's for the one, and then you have to add like something like $2 million.
Yes.
Okay. So, what is the root of this dispute? Because the contract doesn't say anything about it, and we have to interpret it.
Yes. If you look at the development and sales agreement, which is on page 10, you will see that the development and sales agreement does not contain an explicit exchange rate term. The addendum was signed 3 months after the development and sales agreement was already concluded. And therefore, we come to the dispute of the interpretation of to which agreement does this conversion clause apply. So, if we look at the addendum on page 11 of the contract, a textual interpretation shows us that when the parties intend to refer to the development and sales agreement throughout their contractual relationships, you will see also in sections 2, 3, and 20 and 21 of the development and sales agreement, they always use the term agreement with a capitalized A. Now, in the addendum on page 11, you will see that the terminology used by respondent to stipulate the terms of the addendum is different. The respondent uses the term the agreement, which is in undercaps, which means that even respondent himself has seen these two terms as separated and different. Now, we can at least say that this clause is ambiguous.